What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. Hope you're all doing very, very well. We're going to look at Mountain Thane for Fury Warrior. And we're going to check out the whole hero talent tree. I'm going to show you some gameplay. We're going to talk about kind of what's going on with this tree. I am a little disappointed in Blizzard. I'll just say right off the bat. I mean, this just makes so much more sense for me to be an arms warrior. But they made their decision, and it kind of is what it is. But I think this makes so much more sense to be Prot Warrior or Arms Warrior, especially with the focus on Thunderclap, which we'll get to in a minute. But Blizzard made their decision, and it is what it is. One important note I want to make on the Fury talent tree is that they have gotten rid of Annihilator. Annihilator is gone. You can no longer do a build that gets rid of Raging Blow. Let me know how you feel about that. I'm a little disappointed in that. I liked the flexibility of being like, hey, I'm just going to go Rampage Bloodthirst, but I know lots of people hated the gameplay loop of Rampage Bloodthirst in Season 3, I think is what we had. I don't know if it's the same set right now, but Fury in Season 3 was like a 2-button build. I know people hated that. So I think Blizzard's trying to get away from that a little bit. And they're saying, hey, we're going to still give you things like Odin's Fury, but we're getting rid of Annihilator. So let me know what you think about that. Let's talk about Mountain Thane. What's going on here? This tree is all about the Mountain King, you know, from Warcraft 3. That is exactly where it's pulling its lore from. It's all about these lightning strikes. Your damaging abilities like Thunderclap, Raging Blow, and Execute have a chance to strike a target with lightning, which is super cool. And then you have other components that are going to link you up with Thunderclap, and Thunderclap ends up being basically the most important button in your rotation. And you might be saying, well, Zuko, that presents a bit of a problem, doesn't it? Because Fury doesn't really use Thunderclap. Like, Arms Warrior and Prot Warrior get Thunderclap synergy with Rend, wink wink, which is why I thought Mountain Thane should be an arms thing. Anyway, Fury doesn't have Rend. We don't get to spread bleeds by pressing Thunderclap. Instead, our node right here just increases Thunderclap's damage and radius, which is great, but like, where is the synergy? Why are we have to work in? Now we're going to have to like Whirlwind and then also Thunderclap and AoE. That doesn't really make any sense. Like, you're right, it doesn't. And I didn't think it did either until I read this talent here. Storm Strike or nature damage is increased by 5%. Thunderclap damage up by 50% and it generates 5 rage. That's great. This is the most important line in the entire tree, okay? Seismic Reverberations, improve Whirlwind, Meat Cleaver, and Barbaric Training all apply to Thunderclap as well as Whirlwind. The most important one there is, of course, improved Whirlwind. That means when you Thunderclap, you get 4 stacks of the buff, and then your Rampage and Raging Blow and Bloodthirst become AoE, right? So you don't have to take Whirlwind anymore. We can just take Whirlwind right off our bar, and it's gone because all these bonuses apply to Thunderclap. So Seismic Reverberations, Barbaric Training, Improve Whirlwind, and Meat Cleaver. All these 4, they are all going to buff our Thunderclap. So this is a very different sort of gameplay feel to how Fury Warrior has felt previously, and I wasn't making any sense to me until I read this line, and I was like, oh my god, this makes so much more sense now, because now I'm going to be able to, I'm going to get rid of Whirlwind and I'm going to do way more damage. So that's a very important node right there. I'll get to the gameplay in just a second. Lightning strikes also damage enemies near the target, reduced beyond 5, so you get a bit of an AoE on top of this. I will say as well, the damage of Whirlwind, really quickly here, is about, it does about 7,000 physical damage, reduced beyond 5, so it's to all targets. Thunderclap does 18,000 damage. 18,000 damage to all nearby enemies. So you are gonna want to press this button. Okay, this is a great button. Do not worry. It's not like you're like, oh my god, I'm forced into taking Thunderclap, and it's like I just have to press it to get these procs, and it's so stupid. No, 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 no. It hits like a bus, and you're gonna love pressing it. Okay. Damage up. Okay, this is a very good defensive node. Keep your feet on the ground. Armor increased by 8%. Thunder Blast, which is when Thunderclap gets buffed. I'll show you that in a second. Thunder Blast reduces damage you take by 8%. You're gonna have really high uptime on this. I'm talking like in a raid fight, you might have 80 to 90% uptime. In a Mythic Plus dungeon, I'm not even kidding. So you're going to get way tankier. 8% DR is disgusting. This is the Thunder Blast that it's referring to. Your Bloodthirst has a chance to grant you Thunder Blast, stacking up to 2 charges, okay? When you're in Avatar, you always have Thunder Blast, okay? Thunderclap is always Thunder Blast during Avatar. That's what this last node means, which is super, super cool. Okay? Actually, wait. It just gives you 2 charges. I'm sorry. It just gives you 2 charges, but in my experience during Avatar, your chances of having Thunder Blast up is almost permanent. Okay? That's why I said it like that. I actually just thought it was permanent, but you get 2 charges of Thunder Blast right away, and then your other abilities will continue to proc Thunder Blasts. Okay? There's this choice node. Thunder Blast calls down the improved Thunder clap, sorry, calls down a lightning strike now on an enemy that it hits. I don't know if that applies to all enemies that it hits. I should probably look at that. Activating Recklessness. This activating Recklessness gives you a charge of Thunder Blast. That's also cool. Let's go back to flashing strikes in a second. I want to touch on this Snap Induction. This does not work if you get a proc of Recklessness for free from either Unbridled Ferocity or from activating Avatar. It will not just give you a free charge of Thunder Blast. From my testing so far, I was thinking to myself, oh my god, there's so many ways to game this. I'm gonna like get free procs on Rampage or on Recklessness, and I'm gonna get a proc here. It doesn't seem to be working that way. Unlucky, but that's just the way it is. But when you activate regular Recklessness, you do get a Thunder Blast charge, and you can, of course, cool down Recklessness by taking Anger Management if you want. You could take Reckless Abandon. Let's just do Anger Management. I think that's actually better. I was testing it with Reckless Abandon, but it doesn't really matter either way. Your attacks trigger Lightning Strikes 30% more often, just more of the same. Lightning Strikes generate Rage. Raging Blow and Execute damage are up by 15%. That's pretty good. Let's go with lightning skills trigger more often. Let's just go all in on these lightning strikes and see what they feel like. Last note here, lightning strikes have a 15% chance to make your next 2 bloodthirsts have no cooldown and deal 25% increased damage. Now, remember, your blood thirsts are going to cleave. Everything cleaves, right? Because you're getting the improved whirlwind effect. So that's actually pretty strong. And I have indexed my talent tree into some bloodthirst talents here, like Blood Craze, and of course, Cold Steel, Hot Blood, and Fresh Meat, improved bloodthirst. So I think this tree does focus a little bit more on bloodthirst, which is why I was a little disappointed that Annihilator was gone, because I don't really want to be pressing Raging Blow. But it is what it is. Raging Blow does have a chance to trigger a lightning strike, so it's not useless to press Raging Blow by any means. So that's it. Big thunderclaps, lightning bolts coming down and hitting everybody, a little bit of bloodthirst synergy. That's kind of what you're looking at here, okay? Let me show you in action what happens. I think you're just going to charge in, pop Recklessness. That's not going to give me a... I was getting Snap Induction before. It's not going to give it to me again anymore. That's fine. We're still going to get procs. Watch my thunderclap thing, and it's going to get lots of procs, okay? So now I have my AoE for free. I don't have to hit Whirlwind. There we go. There's a big one. Every time I press my... Oops, I messed that up. Every time I press Thunderclap, I'm getting my Whirlwind stacks up here, which is awesome. So you probably want to try and fit 4 GCDs inside of every Thunderclap if you can, right? I think that's probably a good way to look at it. Although Thunderclap does seem to come back a lot quicker, which is nice. And you want to try and prioritize pressing Bloodthirst. That's been my experience, because Bloodthirst has a chance to make your next Thunderclap turn into an improved Thunderclap, right? A big one. Our Recklessness is almost back, which is nice. But again, this is really smooth. There's nothing crazy about this. You're just pressing your normal rotation. You're just doing Thunderclap instead of doing Whirlwind. That's literally all you're doing, and it's great. I think it's great. I missed my execute there. That was a mistake. Another clap. Really, there's nothing else going on here. So it's a little bit simple, but I think it's actually strong. And again, the numbers, please don't look at the numbers. I know everybody's looking at the numbers. I know you are. I can see you. I can see you looking at the numbers there, but I promise you shouldn't be, because it really don't matter right now. My stats are terrible. Everything's terrible. The point is, it works. It's functional. It's fluid. And you don't have to use Whirlwind anymore, which is kind of interesting. I think thematically, it just makes sense for it to be an arms warrior, but it is what it is. Now, you could experiment a little bit. I don't even know how much damage my lightning strikes did there, but you could experiment with these talents a bit and go with something like Snap Induction. And you could also go with Thorum's Might if you wanted to get more rage. If you felt like you were a little bit low on rage generation, you could do that. I don't think you're going to be low on rage generation. It's a Fury Warrior. You're never low on rage generation ever. You're just not. This was the other build that I was doing. I was trying Reckless Abandon with... Actually, this doesn't even make sense that I would do it this way. I should do it the other way. Anyway, you can try a couple different experiments, but it makes sense to cool down your recklessness if you're going to take Snap Induction, because that it triggers off your recklessness. So the more times you can get a Thunder Blast buff, the better it's going to be, because Storm Strike damage ignores armor and you get a buff to Storm Strike damage anyway, so it's always just better to have that. Okay, so now we go in, we pop recklessness, and we get an improved Thunderclap right away. And then if we pop Avatar, we get another one, which is really cool. So again, we're trying to maximize as many procs on the super juiced Thunderclap as we can get. There we go. There's another one. You can see the damage is a little bit better this time around. I know we're not looking at damage. Zuko, stop looking at damage, Zuko. I know I will. But it does matter a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's about how it feels to play. How does this feel to play? It feels good. I think it feels fine, guys. I am all here for it. I am happy to not press Whirlwind anymore. There's something about Whirlwind, the animation of Whirlwind, I just didn't like. Does anybody else feel that way? I don't know what it was about Whirlwind. I just really didn't like it. I kind of like pressing Thunderclap. I'm not going to lie. I do feel a little bit more like a Mountain Thane, you know? I feel a little bit tougher already. So anyway, that's it. That is Mountain Thane Fury Warrior. I think it's good. And I think that the fact that you get to use Thunderclap instead of Whirlwind, I like that a lot. And I like the synergies. They've kind of reduced the button blow, right? So they didn't add any more buttons, which is amazing. They just replaced one that you already had. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. All you Warrior mains, all you Fury guys out there, let me know what you think about this. I would love to hear from all of you down there. Yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to check out Slayer next, I think, for Fury Warrior, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. I will see you in the next one.